All right, now get comfy because I'm about to sit here and tell you about the badass vampire movie that I watched this weekend, Abigail. Spoilers, so if you don't want it spoiled, just come back later. The movie starts off with Abigail, a young girl, and she's just killing it with her ballet, dancing on some stage, just minding her own business. In the meantime, we see a group of 6 people getting ready to carry out their plan of kidnapping Abigail. Once she's home, they inject her with something to knock her out, and they take her to a secluded mansion in the middle of nowhere. Once there, we meet Lambert, the mastermind, played by none other than Breaking Bad's Gus Fring Giancarlo Esposito. He gives people nicknames taken from the Rat Pack because they're not to share any kind of personal information with each other or with Abigail. They have to stay in this creepy old mansion for 24 hours. But on the bright side, they'll be earning $7 million. They have a fully stocked kitchen and bar so that they can just drink and keep themselves entertained. It's a very Breakfast Club, but like a horror movie Breakfast Club. We have former Army medic and recovering addict Joey, played by Melissa Barrera. And yeah, Scream Bosses, you totally screwed the pooch on this one because she was awesome. The douchey detective for former Detective Frank. Bored rich princess but genius hacker Sammy, played by my girl Catherine Newton of Lisa Frankenstein. The sociopathic driver Dean, played by Angus Cloud, who is really just Fesco from Euphoria getting mixed up with these people, but I'm not mad at that because I love me some Fesco. May he rest in peace. Marine sniper Rickles, and a not super bright but endearing Canadian mob enforcer Peter, played by Kevin Durant, who after being in this strain should really be an old pro at this dealing with a vampire situation. Joey's put in charge of taking care of Abigail, but she's not to show her face or reveal her identity. Having a son of her own, Joey bonds with Abigail. She pinky promises not to let anyone hurt her, and Abigail's like, I'm sorry for what's going to happen to you. And then from there is where the fun begins, and the fun starts off with poor Dean, who gets dragged away as he enters the basement after trying to flirt with and pranking Sammy. Sammy hears him, goes to check it out. She finds him. Well, not all of him, because really she just finds his headless corpse. Abigail starts messing with their minds when Frank goes to confront her and finds out that her father is Christophe Lazar, this big bad criminal boss dude that everyone's afraid of. The Breakfast Club then starts sharing stories that they've heard about Lazar and how he's an urban legend and somehow supernatural, or at least his hitman Valdez is supernatural. They're all freaked out and Rickles tries to leave, but they are now trapped by the home security system. I'm talking like bars and boarded up windows. There's no way out. They're all trying to find a way out somehow, and we lose Rickles when he gets mauled. Frank the douche says that they have to kill Abigail, and Peter steps up to do the job, but Joey intervenes. While all this is happening and they're all distracted, Abigail vamps out, so now they have to kill her. But how? They get the usual garlic, steaks, holy crosses, but nothing works. Joey's like, why don't we just use the tranquilizer that we used when we took her? They're able to knock Abigail out and lock her up, but during all of this, she has managed to bite Sammy on the arm. Once Abigail comes to, she tells the group that she knows who they all are and that they had been set up for her to kill as revenge. She goes on to describe how they've all screwed her father Christophe over in one way or another. Judging from the pool of bodies that Sammy accidentally fell into earlier, it looks like Abigail's been killing her dad's enemies for some time, trying to win his love. The group's still trying to figure out a way to get out of this mess, leaves Frank in charge of Abigail. Abigail tries to bargain with him so that he'll let her out, but it turns out she was just effing with him because she breaks out of the makeshift cage anyway and starts choking him. Joey manages to get some of the wood off a window, exposing Abigail to the sunlight, which actually works on her. So now they just have to find a way to get out of here before nightfall again, and they Scooby-Doo it, split up, to go work on this. Sammy now vamps out, kills Peter, and dances around while under Abigail's control. Sammy's now basically a vamped out puppet who attacks Frank and Joey but is destroyed when Joey reflects sunlight on her. Before all this happened though, Sammy figured out that she could deactivate the security system by finding the source in the mansion's control room, which Joey and Frank find. But they also find Lambert there, who is also a vampire. He was turned by Abigail for betraying her father, and now he wants to kill her. He offers to turn Frank so that he can help him do this, and Frank's like, okay. Lambert turns him, and Frank pays him back by staking him. He overpowers Abigail before drinking her blood, which makes his abilities stronger, and he wants to turn Joey into a vampire so that he can control her. Abigail rescues Joey, and they tag team, and after lots of fighting and struggling, they finally manage to kill Frank, who couldn't control Joey because, as Abigail informs him, he hasn't been a vampire long enough to do the cool shit. Joey's freed and won't turn into a vampire since Frank is now dead and he's the one who turned her. But now we have to deal with the big bad who shows up, Abigail's dad, who threatens Joey until Abigail stands up to him. She tells him that Joey saved her life, and he's like, okay, you can leave, but you better go now because it's almost dinner time. Joey then leaves the estate to reunite with her son.